Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Steve Benoon. You're watching Danoon Institute. Well, no, gosh, no, we're not watching Danoon Institute. If you're here live, you're watching Fact News Network. If you're catching this by recording, you are watching Israeli News Live. And I need to warn you guys in advance, you're going to be seeing some very graphic footage here in just a few moments, especially those of you that are watching this broadcast live here this evening. So at any rate there, we're going to be coming right back to this post by Carolyn Hyde on Facebook. She's reached out for an urgent prayer request of Yarav Goldman, their group there in Israel that helps the Orthodox Jewish community because they have come under attack by Mr. Epstein's group. This is Mr. Epstein right here. Many of you might remember him. He was accused by the Israeli government for burning down a Catholic church. I actually reported on that originally because the Vatican got involved and wanted to have him, demanded that he be tried. And on that particular case, I kind of took up for the man because, of course, one, I didn't know he's that much of an extremist, and secondly, I was a Zionist at the time. So anyway, we're going to be talking about this because they are threatening Christian, Jewish friends of ours there in Israel, threatening their lives, and we're going to be bringing a spotlight on this. Let's first go, though, to, as I said, very graphic situation over in the Yemen and Saudi area there, the war that continues on between the Yemeni soldiers, as some call them Houthi soldiers, that this fight is going on over there. And we have received from our good friends, that is our correspondent for the Middle East there, we have received video footage that has not been made public to the Western media as of yet. And I will tell you, it does show, even though the video is a little bit grainy, there is some very, as we would say, very graphic images in here. So let's go ahead and play some of this here. I'll turn the volume down just a touch here. It is an attack on a Saudi outpost that has taken place right here. They're slipping up over the mountain there to attack this Saudi outpost, and it looks like, from what I can see right there, they had already launched bombs in there on them and had taken out a couple of vehicles from what it appears to be at the first sight there. The gun battle then ensues. It is a very heavy-duty gun battle there. They show the footage there of the Saudis that are running from them, and of course it will get much worse. They will end up killing all of the Saudis at this outpost there, and of course this is the soldiers you see that are filming, as well as that are in the footage doing the attack, are the Yemenite Houthi rebels there fighting against the Saudis that have been waging a relentless war against the Yemenite people there. The Houthis, though, are backed by Iran. That is no mystery as far as that goes there, but they have certainly gotten some advanced technology and have been able to launch some very powerful and successful counter strikes against the Saudis and against their people there. So again, you are watching footage that has just come out this evening from a battle that was fought earlier today there. So, and they're showing the people that were just killed there. I'm going to back off of that. I don't want to sit there and continue to show all of that particular footage there. But as I said, it was very graphic there indeed. Anyway, all the Saudis were killed in that particular attack there. There have been a couple of attacks that have been led by the Houthi rebels against the Saudi military, and they have had major successes against the Saudi government that has been trying to overthrow these rebel fighters inside of Yemen. Anyway, let's get back here to the situation at hand. I've highlighted some very key areas of this topic here, and this is something, friends, needs to be shared far and wide. So I tell you what we're going to do there. For those of you that are watching here live on Fact News Network, I'm going to go ahead and read about this here, But we're going to actually do, I think, a separate video about this. I don't want to mix this with this violent footage that we have on the Houthi rebels there on Israeli News Live. So I'm going to load this up separate as a separate newscast there on Israeli News Live, but I'll share this with you guys now, and then we will come back and re-record this, and probably have to do 2 different recordings for Israeli News Live. I'll probably do a live broadcast on Israeli News Live about the Houthi fight, and then we will actually put this up about what's going on in Israel right now. So those of you that are watching on Fact News Network, let me just share this with you. Carolyn Hyde, 17 hours ago, posted this urgent prayer request, said the organization that she's a part of, and that's Yarev Goldman's organization, their main focus has been serving the needy and the victims of terror in Sderot by serving them food and clothing. When Yarev Goldman became the chairman of Hands of Mercy, we expanded our service as Shepherd of Israel to include the former Orthodox at the risk youth here in Jerusalem. She goes on to write, the former Orthodox Jews and especially former ultra-Orthodox really need places that will accept them and help them make the transition from the Orthodox world to the outside world. So we offer them free workshops in music, English lessons, etc. She says, we don't force our faith on anyone. We never, one second here, we never condition our help, she quotes there. And she says, like an example, which by the way does happen in Israel, what they call missionary manipulation, i.e. want to eat, no problem, just pray this prayer or listen to a teaching about Yeshua. That's what some mission groups do in Israel, but they don't do stuff like that. They help. If they ask, they render help, and that's very lovely. And we actually interviewed before Sister Carolyn Hyde here on Israeli News Live. Very, very prominent, wonderful Christian, her and her family there. She said, we truly believe the love of Messiah controls us and that we received a mandate from God to serve, love everyone, even if it means serving persons who would never believe the same as us. Of course, if people ask us about our faith, we gladly answer. We don't hide a thing, and we're more than happy to talk about our Messiah, humanity's cure. The Lahava organization, which is ran by Mr. Goldstein, has declared us missionaries here to deserve to die. All right? That's Mr. Goldstein, the extremist. I just showed you his picture there, right? This guy right here. He has declared that missionaries deserve to die. Well, that's kind of interesting if you think about the Noahide laws, because Noahide laws call for the death of any believer of Yeshua that would believe him to be divine as guilty of one of the Noahide laws, right? So it's kind of interesting that that is actually what he's saying there. Declared us missionaries who deserve to die. A few days ago, they came during open hours, and our staff and others asked them to leave, telling them we have 3 children here. They were warned they have 3 children, right? But they didn't care. They left for a while, returned throwing stones and bricks at us without caring who might get hurt. The former Orthodox or little children that were inside the house, a very large brick flew right by Halal's head and could have seriously hurt or killed her. Lahava returned the next day. When the living room was empty, the door was open, so they entered and trashed the place, throwing glass bottles outside, and they stole Halal's phone. They returned again through a heavy rock in the front door's glass, smashed it, and of course, we'd already called the cops a few times. We've also started an investigation. We plan to install 24/7 cameras around the perimeters as soon as possible, but we're talking about an organization that doesn't care about the law, talking about the Lahava group, the Goldstein's group there. The saddest thing is that most of them who are acting like terrorists are teenagers who've been brainwashed to think that they're doing God's work by physically harming us. The leader of Lahava is Benzion Goldstein. She puts in there the link to the Wikipedia page about him, so you can look at that about him. First, according to what Yeshua taught us, please pray for them. Pray for those who persecute us, that God will rebuke them for what they do and take them out of this hatred captivity they're locked in. You know, and secondly, pray for us for divine protection, as we really love serving these people and we don't want anyone to get hurt. Thank you very much for standing with us in Jerusalem. Yariv and family there. So God bless Sister Carolyn Hyde for posting this, making this aware. This is what Jewish families really go through in Israel. And a lot of these things are never reported. People are just not made aware of these things. In fact, I'll share one other thing with you guys here on Fact News Network. This here is a video on Twitter. This is a video of Mr. Bloomberg, who's running for President of the United States on the Democratic ticket there. Again, if you'll notice, if Trump loses, we have so many Jewish candidates on the Democratic side there that if he were to lose, everything will still go as planned. Now, this is Mr. Bloomberg, which, by the way, Hillary Clinton possibly will be his running mate. I want you to listen to what he says here in the video, and you be the judge of what's going on in this world here. Speaking to a group of Jewish men, look like Orthodox, but let's listen in. Let me get the volume cranked up so you'll be able to hear this.
If you're bleeding, don't stop the bleeding. If you need an X-ray, you're going to have to wait. That's just, and all of these costs keep going up. Nobody wants to pay any more money.
Okay, I know the volume is probably not loud enough for you guys.
And we've got to sit here and say which things we're going to do and which things we're not.
What Mr. Bloomberg is talking about in this video right here is basically euthanasia.
95 years old.
He's talking about in here saying we should deny care to people once they are past a certain age because it isn't worth it. Is everything about him which is so awful. That's whoever posted this, the, I can't pronounce the name of this guy here, the Murderjaman or whatever. But at any rate there, sorry, I didn't realize you guys, my battery's almost dead on the phone here. But anyway, Mr. Bloomberg calling for no health care after a certain age. In the video here, he uses an example of a man 95 years old that comes in with a prostate problem. He said, don't treat him, send him home and tell him to have a happy, long life. You know, just kind of strange for a presidential candidate to be talking about something like this. But anyway, wanted to share that with you, those insights there. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Fact News Network, and glad we're able to run this live for you. We'll be running 2 different broadcasts for Israeli News Live. We'll be going to this. A few other things as well. We'll be talking a little bit about Bernie Sanders, some things about Iceland and Trump on Israeli News Live. So we hope you join us over there. Erev Tov.